Morning news on 710 KURV. Top newsmakers. Here's Sergio Sanchez.
Western Valley Congressman Henry Cuellar and Corpus Christi area Congressman Blake Farenthold would like to apply the same immigration standards on illegal immigrants coming in from Cuba as everyone else. Joining us on 710 KURV is our Western Valley Congressman Henry Cuellar. We've talked about this before, Henry. What is the sentiment? What is the general mood in Washington? You're going to have to convince several friends to join you in this cause, I'm guessing.
And you're right. It's going to be an uphill battle. No ifs, no buts about it. Talking to members individually, they understand that we need to apply the same standards to Cubans, just like we apply those standards to everybody else. Otherwise, Cubans are getting it's pure amnesty. It's a pure amnesty. And
can you review that for us, Congressman? Can you tell us how they are different compared to folks coming in illegally from Mexico, Central America, everywhere else? What type of special benefits or privileges do they receive as soon as they arrive? How does it work?
Well, first of all, they don't try to sneak in through a river. They just come straight to a bridge, port of entry, and just present their paperwork, their Cuban paperwork, and then in about 45 minutes or 1 hour, they get in. In Laredo, for example, they cross the street. There's a little Casa de Cambio, money exchange house. They walk up the stairs. They start filling out their paperwork, and they get federal benefits. And there's two types of federal benefits they're entitled to. One is refugee, money, assistance, furniture, housing that they can get for about 90 days. Okay. And then they
How much is that? Do you know, Congressman?
I don't.
Okay.
We got a briefing, but they didn't go into that detail.
Okay.
But then they can also get the standard food stamps, housing, whatever they might they might get. Mm-hmm. And then in 1 year they become a legal resident, and then in 3 years they're fast tracked. They're fast tracked to become a naturalized citizen. Now, you tell me any other group that gets that type of preferential treatment, and I understand. 1966 is a very different time, but now that we got President Obama just left Cuba, a very historic moment, then I think it's time that we start changing some of the this preferential treatment.
Do you have any idea where the president, where the White House and all of his minions, where do they stand on this? Do they support your effort?
I think the White House, and I'll be very honest, I think the White House and the Republican caucus generally don't support this change. I think if you ask, some of the presidential candidates, I think at least one of them says he doesn't want to change. So therefore, I think it's going to be difficult. I understand that. It is an election year. It's a presidential year, and Speaker Ryan already said that he's not going to have any immigration changes till President Obama is out. And it's unfortunate because it's going to get caught up in Democratic and Republican politics.
Western Valley Congressman Henry Cuellar joining us on 710 KURV, and we've talked about this before, his effort, along with other colleagues, an effort to apply the same immigration standards to Cubans.
Yeah, Congressman Tim Sullivan here. So with this proposed change, Cuban immigrants will be treated like other immigrants, like those from Mexico and Central America, meaning they'll be allowed to come in, add to the current backlog, get a date to appear in court for their hearing, and they're never heard from again. Kind of like the way our current immigration system works.
Touche, Tim Sullivan.
hey, Tim, so do you want immediate amnesty or do you want amnesty? And
no, he wants them deported. He wants them deported, right, Tim? Put him on a plane.
I want comprehensive immigration reform, and I would like to see the legal immigration system reformed as well, the bureaucracy that's involved there to be lessened, so we can make it an easier path for immigrants to come across, so they don't have to come across illegally.
Yeah, and I agree. Having things like a guest worker plan, like the Bracero program, where people can come in and then go back. There's a lot of things that we can do. In the meanwhile, we can see certain things in the immigration law that just doesn't look right. The things that stick out right away. First of all, judges. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I think we're now at 457,000 cases that were backlogged. 457,000 cases. I'm sorry, 457,000 cases. We did add, as you know, I did add 55 new immigration judges, and I'm going to be asking for more judges. But just to show you, we met with the immigration folks, the Washington folks, and I said, hey, listen, I want to, we were able, John Cobbleton, a friend of mine, Republican from Houston, and we added monies for 55 new judges. Can we add more judges? Because, by the time you guys finish hiring the judges, they're going to hire those 55 judges at the end of this year. And I said, by the time we pass this bill, you can hire your judges, and then we can start next year looking for for another 25 or 50 new judges. And they said, no, let us finish hiring these judges, and then we'll ask for the money later. I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I was cynical in my earlier statement, and but this bill that you and Blake, this CUBA Act that you and Blake are putting forward, appears to me to be a perfect incentive to go ahead and move on comprehensive immigration reform.
Exactly, and I think eventually, I mean, there's two parts. One is the there's a wet foot, dry foot policy. That's a 1999 memorandum, which means that President Obama can get rid of that right now if they want to. They can do that. They can do that right now. And I think they responded to the Houston Chronicle or one of the papers in Texas, and they said, no, we don't have we don't have any plans to change it. Well, I mean, the Obama administration doesn't want to change that part. The Republican majority has said we're not going to do anything till Obama leaves. So basically, even though we want to change something right now, this amnesty part of it right now, this preferential treatment, it looks like both sides are saying, no, we're going to wait till sometime maybe next year or after next year, after President Obama leaves. That's basically the signal that I'm getting. The other part is I think we ought to at least change the federal benefits that they get. I mean, is it right that they walk in and they get, I believe it's 90 days of refugee assistance, and they can also get immediate housing or food stamps or whatever they can apply for? I mean, I think at least we ought to be able to change that.
Yeah, and going back to what you said on the wet foot, dry foot, that's a reference to if you make it to U.S. soil, you get in and you receive those benefits. But if they catch you at sea, the wet foot, then they send you back to Cuba. That's what you were referring to, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought for a minute there you were referring to your salsa music classes, or your salsa dance classes that you failed miserably. Why are you hating on Cuba, dude? I know you can't dance. You were born with two left feet, but ain't nothing wrong with Cuba. Why are you hating on Cuba, man? Huh?
Can you tango as well as President Obama, as we saw last night in Argentina?
My instructor, Serge, is going to give me a rating pretty soon.
You behave, Henry. Thank you for joining us. Western Valley Congressman Henry Cuellar. Oh, yeah.